Well, again, good morning. Let me tell you how absolutely proud I am to stand here and look out and see so many people standing shoulder to shoulder to fight this injustice. Again, my name is Patrick Yoes, and I represent the National Fraternal Order of Police. And on behalf of our members, thank you. Thank you, all of us, for what we do in protecting the lives of people within our communities. We run towards danger while others run away. And here we are today to try and fix an injustice. In this building in back of me, in 1894, Congress recognized that they needed to protect American workers. And they passed a bill. That bill says that when somebody has a fiduciary responsibility over someone of their assets in capacity of them being an employee, that there's a certain duty of care and responsibility. And they criminalized anyone who mistreated that fund and mistreated your assets. And you know what they called it? They called it embezzlement. That is the rule that exists in this country today, except for public employees. Because public employees, they got back together in 1983 and sat in the same building, in the building in back of me, and changed the wording. And instead of recognizing what it is, they called it at Windfall, and they called it an offset. It's nothing more than theft. We're not looking for anything more than we've earned. As every other American, we're the only class of workers in the United States that has this unfair rule put on us. Every one of us have paid 100% into the system of what was required of us, and from our secondary employment or our employment after we left our professions, earned our points and earned a benefit. That is our benefit. So if anyone else, if a money manager or a retirement system tried to do what Congress is doing to us right now, if they were doing it right now, we wouldn't call it a windfall, we wouldn't call it elimination, we'd call it embezzlement by a statute passed by this very body. It's time to fix this. It's time to fix it. It's not fair. Our only sin, all of you, our only sin is we answered a higher calling of public service, and for that we've been penalized for doing so. It is just simply not fair. Money you pay into the system is going to go to someone else. Even worse, money you paid into the system so your spouse can have benefits when you pass, 75% of them are zeroed out by government pension offset. You tell me where it's fair for you to pay in the system to protect your family, and you can't, and they're not able to take it. It's time to fix this. It's time to fix it, and today's the day. There are two people I want to recognize that played a huge role in how we got here today. For the last two Congresses, we have reached over 290 co-sponsors in the House. That 290 triggers a rule. That rule puts us in a position where we could be on a consensus calendar for a vote. Last session, the clock ran out on us. We weren't able to do it. We got 305 co-sponsors. I'm proud to stand before you today and tell you that we have 308, and after we all finish our meetings in the House, I expect that number will grow again. Yesterday, a petition was signed and forwarded to the Speaker to move this forward, to put it on a consensus calendar. Last year, latter part of the year, I had the honor and the awesome responsibility of speaking on behalf of my members at a field hearing on Windfall Elimination Government Pension Offset, expressing the frustrations of each and every one of us, not just us, but every public employee, teachers, city workers, municipal workers, all of us affected by something that is simply just not fair. So we've had a hearing. Now we have a potential date in the House, and we have a battle to fight in the Senate. And this is where I want to warn you. We're going to walk into this House, and we're going to find a handful of people. There are two groups. Well, first off, there's not a person in Congress that will tell you that this is fair. They all agree that this needs to be fixed. There are two groups here. The overwhelming majority in the House and a majority in the Senate have signed on to this bill, recognizing that today's the day. It's time to fix this problem. They're tired of kicking this can down the road. It's time to fix it today. And for them, each and every one of them, thank you. When you're having your meetings with your members of Congress, thank them if they're signed on this bill. Then there's a second group, the ones that are going to smile at you, and they're going to take pictures with you, and they're going to shake your hand, and they're going to tell you how they support you and how we need to fix this. But here's the problem. These people have been here a while, and they haven't fixed anything, nothing. What they're doing now is trying to come up with a new plan to try and stop this bill, that we have the momentum moving, and we're not going to allow them to do it. Today is the day. Stop the smiling. If they're smiling at you and telling you that they support you, and today's the day you point out to them that the only way you could support me on this day is to repeal Windfall Elimination Government Pension Offset. So I want to thank I want to thank Congressman Graves and Congressman Spanberger. For the last two Congresses, we have met on a regular basis, building this consensus across this country, moving this needle, pushing us to the point where we have an overwhelming majority in the House and a majority in the Senate, something we've never done before. We have more co-sponsors than we've ever had before. It suggests that this bill would pass today if they would stop, if people would stop from moving. The common question we're all asked, where's the money come from? Well, I'm going to tell you where it came from. It came out of our paychecks. It came out of paychecks for 40 years. You've been taking money that's not yours, somehow balancing a Social Security system on the backs of public employees. You tell me how that is fair. We're not asking for our money back because we know that's not going to happen. What we are asking is you fix that and you fix it today. So I want to thank Congressman Graves and Congressman Spanberger for their hard work. We would not be here today if it wouldn't be for them being leaders in this role. So with that, is Congressman show up? Not quite here yet. With that, I'd like to introduce Lee Ballinger. Lee Ballinger served in the United States military, went on, moved to Dallas, and became a Dallas police officer where he worked for 30 years. In that capacity, he worked through the ranks and finally retired as a detective. And I want to ask Lee to come up and talk a little bit about how windfall elimination is unfair to the workers across this country, and ask each one of you to tell me if Lee's story is any different than any of you. Lee?